Hello, we're back. Well, there are my two Maxes again. We've had an interesting development, and I think it's kind of want to blame myself because of lack of research, but let me show you something. So, unbeknownst to me, I thought I did a lot of research on this truck, but I know Maxx, they don't make a lot of parts for it, but Traxxas actually makes a motor mount exactly for what we're doing here. Comes with, just put the camera down over here, which is strange. The part number is an 8960X. And believe it or not, this part number is in the original 2018 parts book for the V1 Maxx, and it's in the V2 Maxx. It doesn't make really good reference. Let me just put this over here. Well, I guess it does, depending on how you read it, I guess. But I kind of try to pride myself on doing my research, but I got nipped in the butt here. So right there, 8960X, motor mounts, front and rear, pin for installation of 3481 motor into Maxx. And that's the same thing it says in the V2 book. So I didn't know, and I haven't seen a lot of people's videos. So this is the stock motor out of it, and this is the plate that comes with the kit. So this is what you get. You get a bag with a pin, and then that little nut that goes into the motor mount itself, a little screw, and then these two pieces. It's got the rear carrier, which has now the temp sensor slot in it as well. So now I'm going to take the motor out of the V1 that I put with the temp sensor in it already, because the temp sensor goes into this back mount here, and to be able to change that, you just pop this. Well, it's kind of ignorant, but you got to move the fan shroud ahead and then pop this piece there. We'll go this way. This piece off. Oh, there it goes. So there's your difference in size. Quite the difference, obviously, because of quite the difference in motor. But the little loop back in here is where the temp sensor goes, which they've accommodated in the other mount, which there isn't a lot of info on this. So this will be part 2 of this build. So I'm going to take the temp sensor out of V1, put it onto this mount with V2, or in the V2 with the 2000 kV. This is getting confusing even for me. And we're going to do a gear change. We're going to gear it down to the Maxx Slash comes with 2550 gearing, I found out. And this truck should be able to handle 2550, no problem, being almost 2 pounds lighter. That's dry weights when I'm saying that. It's not with a battery, because everybody runs different size batteries, so I don't want to mix up the weights whenever I say that with any weight I offer. Everybody's got different ideas what they want to run for batteries. Okay, so I'm going to get the V1, put this back in the V1, and get the V2 up here, and we'll take a look at the difference in this. Now I'm going to have to move my fan with that security wire, if you remember I put in there, because I just eyeballed it, and this rear harness lines up just barely with where the fan is located now. So hopefully the wire still fits underneath this, but I want to see the difference in this compared to the stock one. Just a quick interlude into before I start taking these apart. I think the new motor combo deserves a new set of tires. So I'll run through this quick. Again, it's in my other videos on how I vent them. Soldering iron with just the pointy pointy tip on it. I go through 1, 180 degrees apart, and then 90. I put 4 holes in. And then brake clean and tape up the vents, the vent holes. The rims are oily, so you want to use some brake clean so your Gorilla Glue, Gorilla Tape holds. Gorilla Duct Tape. And then after I'm done that, just to make sure they didn't heal up on me, I just go through, make sure I got a good hole in there. And I've been doing this for years. Not one of the tires that I've exploded, and I've exploded a lot of tires, has ever let go at one of my vent holes. It's always come unglued first. Or just completely decided to hand grenade. There we go. Clean off my little pinny thing. My depth, that's my depth pin for checking the screws to make sure I don't put too long a screw on a spot. Unplug our soldering iron before I forget. A little brake clean. Clean up the vent holes. You can tell how often I do this because I always got pre-cut squares of tape over here on my bench, on my self-healing mat. Like that. And there you go. Just like that. See in there? And I've never had any of the tape come undone. All right, there you go. We'll get at these motors now. Forgot to mention about this venting and taping. The main reason you're doing this is to keep water and sand out of your tires. You got to think of this tire when it's spinning on your truck and you're doing cyclones out in the dirt. It's like a washing machine, dishwasher, washer, clothes washer on spin cycle, and everything jams into the tire. I don't know why other brands, Arma has gotten on board actually, and my buddy just bought a new Granite, and it comes with the holes, with the tires vented and no holes in the rims. So good on Arma for that. Now we just got to get everybody else on board with it. Can't let the dirt get in there. It adds weight to the vehicle and it destroys the foams inside the tires. And eventually your tire will just blow off. Excuse me. Okay, there's V1, back to V1 stock configuration. Got the other motor I put in with my temp sensor. Anybody wondering about the temp sensor, you have to take the motor out and apart to put this in, because it goes, you have to get this harness off. You can't get it off without taking the motor mount out. Just FYI, I made a video on the temp sensor anyways. And you don't need the expander, the telemetry expander or anything. You just got to wire it in just like an X-Maxx is. The temp wire and the battery lead, they're all in the RX that comes with Max. So, just FYI. Okay, now we get the other guy up here. We're recording. We're recording. All right. So, interesting. The two mounts between the one that's stock and the one that they sent, there's no difference. So it's just the rear harness. I'm just messing around, hoping that I can get this, fighting with this fan to get it to slide over enough that I can get this in there. I think I got it. It's supposed to be, I think. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's got to go. Got to go still another ring. So it seems to be determinant on the rings. It would seem. Oh. I got it. I think I got it. Well. Holy moly, that's tight, eh? Look at that. Not so much on this side, it's okay. All right. I might be cursing and swearing a little bit here, so I'll shut the camera off again. I got to get it to go just another little bit, so I got to move my wires over. I'll spare you. Okay. Well, that wasn't as much swearing as I thought it was going to be. It was just messing. I didn't want to have to redo that that fan stainless security wire that I got in there. It's a pain in the butt. So I just tweaked it over, and it's in there nicely centered now. Because the biggest problem you have with this setup is there isn't a lot of room to get your mesh. There isn't. You don't have a lot of options for gearing. Look at that. Nice little click. And then now I get my zip tie to hold my wires down there too. See that? That's sweet. So now we're going to try 25-50 gears. And it's rear mounted, so it'll take a beating. This is going to turn into a fun little rig, I think, as long as it can handle the juice. That's pretty cool. I like it. Okay. Round two. There is the temp sensor installed the way I'm going to put it in. You can't go wires going out this way and coming around, but I don't have room with my fan there. So we're going to leave it like that. And I think I'm going to see if I can look up what pin setting they recommend, or what pin setting the Maxx Slash is in. It seems seems okay, I guess. I just don't want it to be too loose. So I'm gonna lots of wire again, like last time. And it's down all the way. Yeah, holes lined up. Okay, we're gonna test drive it like that. In the meantime, I'll do some research and see what pin setting the chassis may be different than the Maxx too. So I'm not exactly sure what they got going on with that setup. One thing you got to get for these vehicles is a ball end, especially for this and for the Slashes. The swung motor mount, or it's just not going to work out getting this screw in. It's hard enough when you do have it, apparently, for some of us. Holy, why is this turning out to be so awkward for me? It's right there. There we go. It's one thing I would like to get, I think, is an aluminum cush cover. Just because that strips out really easy, this one, if you're not watching what you're doing. I still got decent thread in mine, but it's pretty easy to strip that out. Here, again, the clutch is set really loose. It's just to get me set up. Yeah, that's where we'll leave it. So now, when you go to plug these in, they're just like the X Maxx here. So there's one at the very top that's VT and then RPM underneath it. The gray one goes into VT, and the red one goes into the next one in the second slot. You see how there's there's the two separate ones up there? Then there's the very top one is just labeled battery, and it goes right in there, and that's it. And obviously you need the module for you to get any sort of temps. Okay, now we'll open up the RX and wrap this thing up. Okay, so I looked at my phone. The right pin spot for 2550 is pinhole F. So I slid it over 2 holes, and now we're in the correct spot. Gonna do it right. Gotta do it right. All right, here we are, 5 o'clock at night again, t-shirt weather, test driving her. Much more Jamalama. 2550 is nice. Got the app hooked up too, so I can check how the temps go here. Cart? Nope. Sorry. I like it. Let's see what our temps say here. Shouldn't be warm at all. $79. See that? That's awesome. This thing is going to be bulletproof, I think, now. Steel axles, pin kit, all that stuff. Yeah, these tires are much grippier than the other ones, the V1. Does a little bit of a cog thingy there, but if I really wanted to, I could, but I better not. I'd be liking it. Let's launch it over our ramp here. My little ramp. Wow, one of the 10 scale ramps. Yeah, it does do a little cog still. Weird. I'm not sure why it does that. Does that little that should be all right. A little coggy. I'm just so used to my censored systems, I think. That's it. I think she's good. Well, there you go. The motor went up to a little over 90 degrees. Not a big deal. It's already showing lower battery. Bet you my run times are going to be a lot less. Let's use our Bronco for a truck stand. Not our Bronco. Buddy's Bronco. Curious to see what the battery's at. Let's just have a look-see here quick. Then we'll make a, then we'll end this video. Don't want to be yammering too much. This was just off the charger. It was full. 3.9. See that? It's going to eat the juice, but that's okay. All right, everybody. Peace out. RC on.